You are listening to Wolf Trader Radio. This is your week in review for March 10, 23. The March 2023 monthly newsletters are now posted in the members area of the website. This was a negative week for equity markets. The non-farm payrolls report came out strong again. The S&P sold off strong early on the employment report, recovered briefly, and then sold off again on news of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. This past couple of weeks have marked some very unusual market events. There were a series of negative geomagnetic storms that passed across Earth. These are negative events for equity markets. There was a spike in the Fed internals that attempted to counteract the negative impact of the storms. This resulted in a short-term bounce that then failed. The Fed made a similar move in the August 2022 geomagnetic storm. The market bounced and failed in that scenario too. The cat master signal is set to decline now. The only real holdout to the downside is the Fed Juice 3.0, which is still in a buy. That will likely need to go into a sell before the market can move with ease to the downside. It will be a tough road to short the S&P with the Fed Juice 3.0 in a buy and the Fed internals remaining elevated. Even if the S&P challenges the October lows, the Fed will step in to frustrate the bears just like they did with the geomagnetic storm. When you try and short the S&P in the long term, you are playing against a stacked deck of cards, and the Fed is the dealer. Gold continued in a more bullish tone this week. Gold was choppy but finished strong on Friday. The gold Fed Juice is in a buy since March 2, 23. The silver Fed Juice is in a buy since March 1, 23. The gold miners Fed Juice went into a sell on March 7, 23. Gold miners performs exceptionally well on the Fed Juice, and it caught the turn higher earlier than the gold or silver futures. Now it may be leading gold lower once again. The Wolf Spread Trader remains short Bitcoin/long gold since March 3, 23. The Bitcoin Fed Juice is in a sell since March 6, 23. The seasonal pattern is still relatively weak for gold until mid-March, then there is a modest move higher into early April. Bitcoin is coming up to a weaker seasonal pattern in March. Just a word of caution on gold, the long-term cycles suggest that gold is in a long-term bear market. So this is likely a counter-trend rally. Nonetheless, the short-term balance of power on the trading models favors gold. Natural gas finally confirmed an uptrend based on the BAT trading system. The BAT trader made a breakout long trade at the close on March 1, 23 at a price of 2.814. However, the Fed Juice is now back into a sell. There is a quad-lunar cycle low coming in next week. So this is the next best opportunity for a turn higher. The seasonal pattern for natural gas is still very strong in March and April. The strongest part of the seasonal is in late March and April. So look for a building pattern in late March going forward. Oil was lower this week. Oil and gasoline are now in negative seasonals until late March. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we will host a webinar on Saturn in Pisces and financial markets. In this webinar, we will cover the following: what is Saturn? What is Saturn in Pisces? What are the historical events of Saturn in Pisces? What are market seasonal patterns when Saturn is in Pisces? The webinar will be archived on Sunday, March 12, 23, on Patreon and the members area of the website. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The Polar ARF Squared had a solid week of gains. The trade of the week was the gold short on Tuesday, March 7, 23. We introduced the new Polar ARF Squared Turbo this week. The Polar ARF Squared Turbo is a higher frequency version. The Polar ARF Squared Turbo trades smaller position sizes in micro contracts. The Polar ARF Squared Turbo now trades with copper, gold, and the 2-year note. The current version of the Polar R² will now be called the Polar R² Legacy. The Polar R² Legacy will continue to trade with the Polar R² Turbo. We discuss the live account auto trading and Polar R² in detail each week in our Zoom meeting at 8 a.m. The Zoom meetings are open to the public. You must be on the email list to get an invitation, and replays are posted on the website later in the day. You can sign up for the free email list at www.wolftraderfutures.com or www.fedjuice.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.